If you've got spring fever, Lowe's has the cure. During SpringFest, make your landscape stand out with 3 free bags of Miracle-Gro 3/4 cubic foot garden soil when you buy 3. Plus, get up to 40% off select major appliances to keep clothes, food, and dishes fresh all season long. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/22 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for details. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi!
Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Welcome back, folks. This is the More Money Show. So privileged to have on the line with us now one of the geniuses of the financial markets and a good friend, by the way, as well. I'm talking about Rob Arnott, who is the chairman of Research Affiliates and has been made a lot of money for a lot of people over the years. So, Rob, thanks so much for joining the More Money Show.
Delighted to be here.
So let's see. You've got the fundamental index. What is that, by the way?
Oh, fundamental index is an idea we pioneered back in 2004, which quite simply takes the view that why on earth would you want to choose stocks just because they're expensive and worth a lot, big market value, and then own more of them proportional to what their valuation multiples are? If a stock doubles, why should you have twice as much of your money in it? Why not take profits and rebalance? And so fundamental index simply asks the question, how big is the underlying business? Let's choose stocks that are a big enough business, let's say in the top 500 or 1,000 largest businesses, and then let's weight it by the size of its business. The beauty of that is that if a stock soars and its underlying fundamentals don't, then you're going to say, thanks for the nice gain. Let's take some profits. Let's do some rebalancing. People rebalance with their asset allocation. Why not within their equities?
So I have a
the
question.
idea has been live over 20 years.
Yeah. So just a quick question about that. I of course, want to talk to you about policy, but just because I'm kind of not nearly as knowledgeable about these markets as you are. So if you do that, if you're rebalancing, do you have to take a capital gains when you have to sell some of your stock? How does that work?
Yes, you will have to take some capital gains, but there are ETFs that wind up with ETFs. The rebalancing is done in a fashion that's embedded within the ETF, and that doesn't trigger those gains taxes. So, so there are ETFs based on fundamental index offered by Schwab and by Invesco. Really, close over $100 billion is invested using these ideas, and those funds have had essentially no capital gains taxes in 20 years of history. It's really cool.
So you were kind of a revolutionary here with this whole idea. How has it performed?
That's a nuanced question. It's a nuanced question because if you weight companies according to the size of the business, not according to its market value, you have a value tilt. Companies that are trading at frothy multiples, you'll have less than the stock market. You'll underweight. And the result is that when value is winning, we win. When value is losing, we have a headwind. And
got it.
Don't. So relative to value indexes, the performance has been absolutely relentless, winning in 15 out of 20 years by an average of 2 to 2.5% per year.
Amazing. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Leaving you with 50% more wealth than if you invested in a conventional cap-weighted value index. So it's an innovation I'm really proud of.
You should be. Can we change gears, Rob Arnott, and talk about policy? Because that's how you and I met.
Sure.
You're pretty much a libertarian. I'm pretty libertarian myself. I want government as small as possible. So that means I want taxes low. And I'm also a apostle of the Laffer Curve, which, as you know, means that if tax rates get too high, they can be very counterproductive. Would you agree with that premise?
Absolutely. I read an article just a couple days ago, which referred to the discredited Laffer Curve.
Right,
There's nothing
exactly.
discredited about it. It's simple fact.
It's common sense.
If your tax rate is zero, the tax revenues will be zero. If your tax rate is 100%, your tax revenues will be zero because nobody will do any work.
That's right.
If your taxes are 50%, you're going to get 50% of something that will be the total amount of work will be less than if taxes are zero, but the revenues will be much higher than if taxes are zero or 100. That's all the Laffer Curve says. It's self-evident. Same thing applies, by the way. There's a Laffer Curve for tariffs. There's a Laffer Curve for everything.
States face a Laffer Curve, right?
They sure do, and it's actually a tougher one than most people realize, given that state and local taxes aren't deductible for high net worth people any longer.
They're partially, but not completely. They brought back some of it, but not a lot. Yeah.
If you're upper middle class, you probably benefit from the tax deduction. If you're affluent, if you're wealthy, especially if you're a billionaire,
it doesn't help.
It doesn't do you any good at all.
Right.
And so the mathematics of the tax are fascinating. Let's take Seattle as an example. I mean, Washington State as an example.
Yes.
They just imposed a politically popular but seeming to my untrained eyes unconstitutional under the state constitution. But their Supreme Court ruled it's okay. 9.9% tax on any income above $1 million. Now, you might think, gosh, anyone who's making over $1 million, what do they care if you just take a tenth of it? Right. Firstly, they do care, and they might think about moving. Think of all of the.
By the way, you just to interrupt for a second, Rob. When I first met you, you were living in heaven. You were living, I think, near Laguna Beach, one of the most beautiful places on the planet, in a wonderful house. I always loved visiting you. But you now live, in Miami?
Miami Beach. So I split my time about 2/3 Miami Beach, 1/3. Miami Beach in summer is not fun. So I go back.
But you're not paying California taxes any longer, right? I mean,
proportional to the time I spend there, yes.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it.
So I pay a little bit of California tax. But going back to the Seattle example, let's suppose you're in the top bracket. And you are paying 40 cents on the dollar to the federal government. People think it's 37, but there's hidden taxes that take it a little above 40. So you're paying 40%. Now, with the billionaire tax, you're now going to be paying 50%. 10 to the state, 9.9, and 40 to the feds. Okay, who's going to move over a 10% hike in taxes? Well, think of it a different way.
Because I would say 10% is not, a huge increase in the tax.
It's not a get me out of here difference.
Yeah, right.
But in Seattle, you now would be able to keep 50 cents on the dollar instead of 60. You can move to Texas or Florida, or if you feel adventuresome, to Anchorage, and have your income tax go to zero. You can go from 50 cents keeping 50 cents on the dollar to keeping 60 cents on the dollar. That's not a 10% difference. That's a 20% difference.
Ah, right. So your after-tax income has gone up by 20%.
Right. And if Mamdani gets his way, the New York City top bracket will be a ballpark of 18%. So who's going to move from the business capital of the world to, let's say, Miami Beach over 18%? Well, it's not 18%. You take in New York City, if the higher taxes are embraced, your billionaire is going to keep 42 cents on the dollar, and they could keep 60 cents on the dollar. That's a raise of 40%
in their tax.
So, no, in their take-home pay.
Oh, I mean, I'm sorry, in the amount of money that they receive, right? That's huge.
Yeah. So
Wow.
is a billionaire going to leave New York over an 18% tax? Well, it'd be damn tempting because that's a lot. But will they move for a 42% raise? Quite possibly, yes. And this is why Kathy Hochul recently begged billionaires in Palm Beach to come back and do their patriotic duty of paying New York taxes for the wonderful programs they have. You can debate whether the programs are as good as she thinks they are, but you can't debate the simple math that you make 42% more if you leave. And so that's the math that the progressives really need to give some serious thought to, because unless you want to lose your tax base, rethink it.
Yeah. Well, we want to do that analysis that you've done for all the high tax states because it's a fascinating way to look at it. And I think it maybe open up the eyes of people like Kathy Hochul. Yeah. We've got just.
I know somebody who's putting together a calculator for exactly that. And I'll loop you in. I'll put you in touch with them if you're interested.
So one last question. We just got a couple minutes left. I'm talking to Rob Arnott from Research Affiliates, one of the masters of financial markets, but a great economist as well. So, but this is more a philosophical question, if I may, Rob. I mean, what is going on in America, especially on the left, where it's just soak the rich, eat the rich, hate the rich. They have so much money, just take it from them. Since when do we vilify people who are successful and employ? I mean, you've gotten rich, but think of the people. Sad. I just think it's sad too.
It's sad.
What's going?
Well, here's the way I think about it, I have a lot of personal progressive friends, and I have a lot of personal progressive instincts myself. I think helping the poor is a wonderful thing. Sure. I think vilifying the rich is stupid because unless you get rich because of corruption or crime, the only way to get rich is to give people what they want, to give people a product that they want at a price that they want. You're making the world a better place. So instead of a politics of envy or a politics of anger and hatred, why not a politics of gratitude? I mean, I'm personally deeply grateful to Jeff Bezos and deeply grateful to Bill Gates and so forth for all of their contribution to make the world a better place. I'm not angry that they are worth 1,000 times what I'm worth. It doesn't bother me in the least.
Right.
I applaud their success. I applaud their achievements, and I think it's a wonderful thing that we're in a country where if you produce something that people love and want and need, that you can be rich from that. I think we should be grateful, and I think they should happily pay their fair share of taxes, which they're already paying. They're already paying more than their fair share.
Let me kind of amplify that message because it's very important. You know, we've been looking at the research on this. So you've got somebody like Elon Musk. The rumors are that he could be the world's first trillionaire. I don't know if he's ever going to get there, but he's
pretty high odds of that. I mean, he's already 2/3 of the way there.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the point I'm making. The studies show that, millionaires and billionaires or inventors, people who start businesses as you have, as Elon Musk has done, as Bill Gates, that I don't know if you're familiar with this, Rob, but the estimates are that over 90% of the gain of that business or that invention go to other people, not Elon Musk or Bill Gates.
That's exactly right.
So if he's a billionaire, that means his benefit to mankind is $10 billion.
To succeed, you have to, unless it's through crime or corruption, you have to deliver what customers want. You have to have happy customers. If you don't have happy customers, you don't have a business, and you'll never achieve the kind of success that these folks have achieved. I think what they've done to change the world, the Magnificent Seven are all U.S.-based companies.
Amazing.
And they've all done magnificent things. I applaud SpaceX. I applaud Tesla. I applaud Amazon and Google. And these are fantastic organizations that have done great things for the world. And to be angry that the people got very rich ignores the fact that they're producing a product that people think is well worth the price.
And by the way, the people who are angry about that tend to be people who have never produced anything in their life, like the politicians. So, Rob Arnott, thank you so much. I'd love to have you on in a few more weeks. I love our conversations. That's Rob Arnott from Research Affiliates. This is the More Money Show, and we'll be right back.
The right window treatments change everything. Your sleep, your privacy, the way every room looks and feels. At Blinds.com, we've spent 30 years making it surprisingly simple to get exactly what your home needs. We've covered over 25 million windows and have 50,000 five-star reviews to prove we deliver. Whether you DIY it or want a pro to handle everything from measure to install, we have you covered. Real design professionals, free samples, zero pressure. Right now, get up to 50% off with minimum purchase, plus get a free professional measure at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions apply.